Welcome to another edition of Not Just Giants. I'm Matt, and today I'm here to give you my instant reaction to the Giants' 49-17 loss to the Cowboys in Dallas. As I discussed in this week's preview, Vegas had the Giants as 17.5-point dogs. No way I thought the G-Men would win this game, but I expected them to cover the spread. Wise guys were right, this Giants fan was wrong. Dallas is damn good, but they're especially good against the Giants, as they've dominated them this year in the two games played, 89-17. After the Giants stopped the Cowboys on 4th and 1 at the 1 on Dallas's first drive, the Cowboys were pretty much unstoppable the rest of the way, especially through the air. Dak threw for over 400 yards, 4 TDs, and a rushing score, while both CeeDee Lamb and Brandin Cooks had monster games. Meanwhile, the Dallas defense completely stifled this punchless, Tommy DeVito-led offense as they pitched a shutout in the first half. In the second half, the Giants scored on their first possession on a short touchdown pass from DeVito to Cager to close the gap to 28-7, but before New York could score again, they were down 49-7. After a Randy Bullock field goal and a late TD on a 3-yard pass from DeVito to Shepard, the game mercifully came to an end with a final score of 49-17. No surprise there. The Giants suffered some injuries in this game, but the one that looked the most serious and concerning was a first-half knee injury to left tackle Andrew Thomas, who was carted into the locker room. However, by some miracle, Thomas was well enough to return to the game. The Giants lost Kayvon Thibodeaux to a concussion and took a couple of hits in the secondary with injuries to two starting quarterbacks, Tay Banks and Cordell Flott. Not sure yet how serious any of these injuries are, but needless to say, being shorthanded at edge and in the secondary contributed to Dak, Lamb, and Cooks torching the Giants in the passing game. From an evaluation standpoint, DeVito didn't embarrass himself, but against this ferocious Dallas pass rush, which sacked him 5 times, he was only able to throw for 86 yards, but did manage to throw for 2 TDs while adding 41 yards on the ground on 7 rushing attempts. Considering that the Giants had to play half this game without Andrew Thomas, the O-line was not great, but it wasn't terrible. That said, there really wasn't much time for DeVito to find open receivers downfield. Maybe against a lesser defense like next week's opponent, the Washington Commanders, DeVito can be a more productive passer. But until we see that happen, Touchdown Tommy cannot be considered anything more than a third-string NFL quarterback. Saquon Barkley was completely stuffed in the first half, but did make some nice runs when Thomas came back in the second half and finished with 66 yards rushing. On defense, the Giants generated very little pressure and had no sacks. This allowed Dak ample time to make throws against the Giants' young, depleted secondary, and that's how they were able to run up the score in this game. If the Giants don't lose 3 key starters, maybe the Cowboys score in the high 20s or low 30s, and the contest is more competitive. The best thing about this game was that this loss, combined with Arizona's win against the Falcons, brings the Giants one step closer to being able to select one of either Caleb Williams or Drake May. Keep in mind, though, that since the Giants did beat Arizona earlier in the year, Arizona holds the tiebreaker so far if they finish with the same record. If Tyrod Taylor is able to return before the end of the year, and it's been reported that he's not likely to be out for the entire season, the Giants might be able to squeeze out a couple more wins. Nevertheless, in a lost season where the future is more important than the present, I'd rather see the Giants go into full evaluation mode with DeVito and Eason while keeping the vets Taylor and Barkley on the bench. I know it's horrible for morale, but there's enough talent on this team to get good sooner rather than later once they get their rookie franchise quarterback on the field. And that's actually something worth getting excited about. So dry your tears, Giants fans, and pour one out for this necessary darkness that precedes the dawn. Let's go!